this video, we're going to take you through a couple different ways that you can tackle framing within Buildxact, and specifically we'll take a look at some examples including how to use them in recipes. Now, before I get started too deeply into Buildxact, I do very quickly want to just let you know that in our FAQ section under help.buildxact.com, if you search framing in our articles, you're going to come into this article, which is really going to provide, again, a step-by-step, a detailed breakdown of the processes and the steps I'm going to show you here today. One great thing about this article is it will also go ahead and provide some additional calculations based off of common on-center approaches to construction. So again, very much worthwhile to check it out amongst any of our FAQs. With that being said, we're going to go through two primary examples today. Now, these aren't the only two ways, and many people will do different variations of these two approaches to framing, but I want to take you through two separate common ones, which will hopefully help provide some insight as to how you might approach framing estimating within Buildxact. Now, the first way that a lot of people will approach framing is simply just to average out a per lineal foot cost. So you might have established, just as an example, that it costs you roughly $9.21 per lineal foot. And then so from there, you can do your lineal foot takeoff, which I won't show you today. We have a separate video on the lineal foot takeoff. But effectively, once you've gone ahead and measured all the different required walls, you can then get a potentially pretty approximate price of your lineal foot cost, again, or your cost for framing based on the lineal foot rate. So that's one way you can do it. However, another common way to approach framing in Buildxact is actually to use recipes. Now, we have another video which basically talks a little bit about how to use recipes, but the principles are pretty simple. Effectively here, what we're going to do is we're going to give it a name, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is going to be a framing. We'll do 1 inch on center. We're going to go ahead and enter in the recipe unit of measurement, in this case lineal feet. And from here, we can now start to enter basically what goes into 1 lineal foot of framing. So as an example here, we're going to have a top plate, and you might go ahead and again, calculate that out. I'll just say it's going to be, say, 0.64 of a lineal foot as an example. We're probably going to have a bottom plate. I might have a brace here. And again, we know that this isn't always exactly, it won't be exactly 1 lineal foot, but again, easy way to add a bit of wastage there and sort of just a gentle round up. But the last one we want to focus on is essentially the studs here. Now, the lineal foot measurement will be basically a horizontal measurement, but the studs obviously go vertically across that. So we're going to go ahead and basically need to figure out how many studs per lineal foot. Now, this one is quite an easy one because essentially with the 1 foot on center, we know that there is one stud per lineal foot. However, a quick note that if you are doing things like 16 inch on center, then what you'll want to do, and I'll quickly reference back to this article here, is you want to go ahead and do 1 over 1.3, and that'll then tell you basically how many studs per lineal foot you'll need. So again, pretty common example here, pretty common principle, but obviously for our 1 foot on center, it's nice and easy. So here we're going to go ahead and finish this calculation out. I'll go ahead and say it's I might fill a little bit more information in here. I'll do, say, it's at 8 by 6. Now, from here, again, I'm not going to take you through the lineal foot takeoff, but essentially what we can do is we can go ahead and do our recipe from here, or do our takeoff from here. And what this is now going to tell us is it's going to go ahead and do all the calculations for us. So we've already told it what goes into 1 lineal foot of framing. So in this case, we're going to have 150 lineal feet of top plate, 150 lineal feet of bottom plate, 150 lineal feet of bracing, and 150 studs. So it makes it nice and easy. Now, to stress again, quite often we'll see people potentially combine these all together. So you'll combine one line for your top plate, bottom plate, and your braces. So it would be 3 lineal foot of material per lineal foot of framing. Or you might factor in a variety of other elements such as labor and nails, but the principles are all effectively the same. You're always looking at what goes into here. It goes into 1 lineal foot of framing. And that covers off framing, including how to use recipes.